Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today we are going to be cooperating. We are vagrants traveling the spooky rails and dealing with ghosts and what have you in Vagrantsong. Vagrantsong here is a campaign game. You are going to pick your character, you're going to have that character for the entirety of the campaign, and you are going to be going through various encounters. This is what's commonly called a boss battler. Every encounter, every map, every scenario, you fight a boss. That's all there is. It's one main character, sometimes more than one, but generally a main character. And you are trying to give that ghost, that haint, as the game calls it, its humanity back. So you are trying to save them, remind them of the good things in life so that they can safely pass on. And then you have some, in-between chapter things, and then go on to the next encounter. I'm going to show you how the first one is set up, what it looks like, some of the general flow of the game. This is not a comprehensive overview by any means, but just enough to sort of help you understand what's going on in the game, and then we'll come back up here, and I'll give you some final thoughts. So the game, as I said, is going to be scenario-driven. You have this big book of scenarios here. You are going to open up to the first scenario to begin the game, of course, after you've chosen your vagrants, the characters you'll play. And you are going to follow here. There's a little story, all the setup on the board, everything that goes on there. And then over here, this page is for activating the haint, the bad guy, which is an old-timey word for, ghost. And now one page over are some entries, which are story-driven content, basically. I'm not going to really show you very much, but don't look at it. That is going to be a little, narrative that is going to trigger as time passes, as you encounter tokens on the board, this 2 here, that's 6 there, as we break the haint, or as the rounds progress over here on the side. You can't quite see that, but so just as a general overview, and then we'll zoom in a little bit and take a closer look at what's going on. What you are trying to do, it will say in the scenario, but basically in this case, we are trying to give back all the humanity to the haint. This is the haint right here, and there is a goal on the humanity track based on the number of players. We have 4 players here. You are trying to get this token all the way to 12. When that happens, the haint will break. We reset this, and we advance the number of breaks. In this case, the first time it happens, we will read entry 7, and something will happen. When it happens again, we'll read entry 0, and then when it happens one more time, when it's on 0 and it breaks, then you have won the game, all right? And that's what you're attempting to do. Keep your health, be able to accomplish the things you need to accomplish. You are going to get help along the way from some rituals down here, and if you complete what they say, then you will flip those over and do whatever they tell you to do. Usually, like I said, they will be largely beneficial things, sometimes extremely beneficial. So each player has 3 buttons, these 3 tokens here. The players are going to decide who goes. You can have the turns in this game be in whatever order you want to. And once you've selected a player, they're going to use their buttons to select actions. Every player has some built-in actions and then some special skills that they can use. You will put the buttons on there, say I want to do that twice and do this one once, okay? I will take those actions, and then once I'm done, then the haint will activate. And once that happens, we will figure out who hasn't gone yet this round. Anybody who wants to go will go. And so that's the general flow. Player turn, haint. Another player, haint, and so on until we've all gone. And then we will start another round where we advance this, and we can decide again whatever order we want to go in, all right? So that's the general flow of the game. Like I said, let's go ahead and take a closer look, and I'll show you some of the things that are going to be happening in the game. So using our Wayfarer here, who is one of our vagrants, let's talk about some of the abilities. So there's those 5 there. We're going to begin with those. Starting from the top here, we have move. For every coin you put on there, you'll be able to move that many times. And every step in this game, every move is orthogonal. So if I put a single coin on there, I could go 1, 2 with this character here. If I put 2 coins on there, I will have a total of 4 moves. So I could, starting from here, go 1, 2, 3, and 4 to there. You can even break up that movement, by the way, and do other things in between it, and then continue moving later on. The next one over here is rummage. You are going to, for every coin you put there, grab the bindle here, draw as many tokens as coins you put on there, and then keep one. So let's take a look at what's in here. I might have, for example, put 2 coins on there. I grabbed the iron nails and the rabbit's foot. I would keep one of these and put it on my board, and the number there is the number of these I may have. What they do is listed on this sheet right here, okay? They'll allow you to basically find new ways to improve yourself, to deal damage, to heal, to create a diversion for the haint, all sorts of things. But they're always the same, and they're right here on this card. Now, looking at the bottom line here, we've got bust up, which is you punching the haint to remind it of its humanity. As you do that, you are going to increase its life, which is, again, you're trying to give it back its humanity. The next one is investigate, and the last one there lets you patch up, which is heal. For every coin you put on any of those, you are going to roll a die. And that number there is what you need to roll in order to accomplish that. So, for example, let's say I put 2 on bust up and 1 on move. Then I begin. I take my 2 steps, and then maybe I roll 2 dice and try to punch the haint. I have to be adjacent to it. So let's say I was there. And then I'd roll. I did not get a 6. That's not a great fighting character, let's be fair. So nothing happens. Now, if I do get a number that is equal to or higher than I need, that's a hit. And another thing in this game that is very interesting is there are booming boxcars, which means every 6 you roll, it will explode, and you get another die, which you will also roll. Okay? So you could always end up getting a series of those and roll quite a few dice. So that's attacking. Patching up just lets you heal your life, and then investigate has to do with these tokens. You will roll that many dice and try to get successes in order to achieve something in the game. Now, besides those, which are the same for everyone except for the numbers, of course, we've got skills over here. So let's take a look at one of these. This one over here says, in a pinch, and it is, it has some sort of description. It will tell you along the side here who it can target, in this case the haint, the range, 1, the number of bones you're going to roll, 2, and then something that coins on here do. That's actually, that check means what you hit on, but in this case it's being modified by the coins, 6 minus coins. So that means if I put 2 coins on here, I will target the haint, 1 away. I will roll 2 bones, and I hit on a 4. Each one of these. So if I do that, I might get this, and one of those is a success, and it will say something. For each success, something, something, something. Okay? So that's how that works. Now, the neat thing is that the coins don't always affect the same thing on these cards. The coins might affect how many bones you roll, or perhaps the range of the ability. So assigning a lot of coins will have some sort of effect on this. You can only do it once, but the coins will modify that per turn. And also, if I do one of these on this turn, I cannot do it again on my following activation, unless it says otherwise. That's just for these skills. Your own built-in abilities, you can just do those every round. This character also has some junk, which is going to modify something they can do in the game. And throughout the campaign, you will discover more skills, more junk. There will be a lot of exploration and discovery throughout the game as you fight one haint after another, going through a campaign, going through a story. So that's what the players will do. How does the haint behave? Well, for that, we would check the page that shows us the haint activation. So let's go ahead and grab that, and I'll put it here on the table and show you how that works. I'll go ahead and move all these, just so I can put that right there. We have this page right here, which is what we're mainly focusing on right now. Once it's the haint's turn, you are going to shake up the bindle, and we are going to grab one token from it. That token is going to denote how the haint behaves. The haint has a mood, 2 moods. It begins with this one. At some point, it will change moods. It might even change back and forth a few times. And this one, the rabbit's foot, matches that right there. You will read what it does. It will move. It will check an amount of range and probably try to do something to us. So it moves toward break side. Break side is the side of the board that shows the breaks. And it will move towards break side, vagrants in range, move 2 toward break side, and lose 2 humanity. It is dragging us along to break side, losing 2 humanity if we are within that 6 range. So that's what's happening. And then once that's done, we are going to put this over here on the board on the cycle track. So it goes right there. And the bindle is going to cycle back in when there are enough of these tokens to cycle back in. Two of these rabbit's foot would do it, but the iron nails, there would need to be 5 of these to cycle. And now when they cycle, all of these go back in the bindle, and there is usually a cycle effect described here in the book. So that's what's going on. We will continue taking turns, trying to discover new things, trying to go check out these points of interest on the board in order to achieve whatever the book says we're trying to achieve in order to get a victory. That is a very, wide overview of what's going on in the game. Of course, I'm not going to give you any spoilers or go really much more in depth than that, but it should give you an idea of the general flow and what's going on. Let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. All right, so what do I think of this one? Well, let's start right at the top with theme, which is absolutely one of my favorite things about Vagrantsong here. I think it is an interesting, distinct, beautiful, and captivating theme. It's very well done. It oozes from everything in the game, this theme. It's everywhere. It is clearly an integral part of the experience of the game. The setting, the mythology, if you want to put it that way, just the interesting ideas that it encapsulates are front and center. I really like the theme. I think it's amazing. The aesthetics are also stellar. Everything looks good. The acrylic standees are beautiful. The books, the story, scenario book, all of the cards, everything, the word choice that they often go with, everything seems deliberately made to immerse you in this world, and I appreciate that. I think it does a great job with that. Replay value. There are a ton of chapters or scenarios in this, but be aware this game is campaign only. And to be fair, I do wish they would have included a couple of things, a couple of scenarios that are standalone, that I could just show someone this game. Hey, check this out. Let's set up scenario 3 and out of the standalone ones, and we can just play a little bit. Doesn't work that way. You are meant to go through the campaign, and once that's done, you can go through the campaign again. So I miss that. I think sometimes there are too many campaign-only games. They're huge time investment. This is a game I'm happy to spend time in its world, but being able to get in a quick game and then get out again is very valuable. All right, game arc. The sessions are fairly short in this game, and I appreciate that too. You're looking at about an hour. It does say on the box 30 minutes per player. So 1 to 2 hours, right? But they feel punchy. They feel like they move along at a nice clip. So at no point did I feel hung up on a session, sort of like, okay, I'm ready to move on here. Everything was interesting. It was captivating. What's going on is, of course, driven by that story and that pull from the bag. So you could never quite know what was going to happen. I thought that was all wonderful, and it keeps the interest along the session. Ease of play is the big hit from me here. I think the rulebook is, in some ways, very nice. It's lovingly put together. I think it's structured well. There's just a lot of I guess, lack of specificity, some things are simply vague. The way in which the haint chooses its target is a little problematic. It's explained. It's just, among all the other things that are oftentimes fairly straightforward, the haint targeting system is kind of a pain. Now, I appreciate a lot of it. The line of sight stuff, great. So straightforward. I really like it. I tend to not enjoy many line of sight systems. This one is pretty clean. But yes, the haint stuff, the sometimes just how you're meant to resolve something is a little tricky. And while I understand that it's hard to predict every encounter and every interaction in the game, I always feel like games that do that whole use the Grim rule, or in this case, the Hobo rules, Hobo code, in which if two things are equally likely, pick the one that's hardest for the players. That always feels to me like, hey, if something comes up and we couldn't figure that out or didn't, predict that happening, can you come up with a rule for us? Just pick the worst sounding thing. I get it. A lot of games do that because they have too many interactions, but I think specificity goes a long way to clear those things up. Just more examples, that would do it. Also, I think there need to be more player aids in the game. There's one card in there that shows you all of the tokens, the ones you pull from the bag. And on the other side, some of the rules for what you can do on your turn. There need to be more of those. There need to be more rules for lots of things. That's maybe just me, but the rule book is missing a little oomph, okay? Lastly, tactics, luck, strategy. This game is a fantastic combination of tactics, of story, of cooperation, of world building, and yes, of some luck. There's a lot of dice rolling. There are things that the haints will do that you cannot predict, all of that. I think it's a beautiful mix of those things. It's not a story-driven game that only worries about the story, which I think a lot of story-driven games feel like they're about a world first, and then, oh yes, we added some mechanisms so that this qualifies as a game and not a shared reading activity. I think this one finds a really nice balance between those two things. It's just a neat world. It's a neat, concept, cool setting, vibrant characters, and spooky, kind of, Halloween-y spooky, right? But it's a really cool package overall. So there you go. Yes, I wish the rule book was a little bit stronger. I wish there were more player aids. Like I say, in many of these cases, I think the community will help that. I think in maybe a year from now, that's going to be a lot less problematic because, yes, you can go onto BoardGameGeek.com, look up answers to everything you're having an issue with. Download more player aids, which actually you can do from the website for the game, which is good, but put it in there. You'll have flow charts and whatever. There will not be a problem eventually when users help the game out in that case. But as it is right now, it's a little weak. But having said that, everything else in the game is so spectacular, this is still getting a very strong recommendation from me. So Vagrantsong is going to get an 8.5 out of 10. That means this is going to get a seal of excellence from me. I love it. It's beautiful. I really enjoy that this is not just another dungeon crawl. This is its own dungeon crawl. Doesn't feel like any other one I've played. Vagrantsong, everybody. 8.5 out of 10. Seal of excellence. And that's it. My name is Zee Garcia. I hope you enjoy your adventures out there on the haunted rails, and I'll see you on the next one.